Hey psychologically minded humans, welcome back to PsychologyWorks on adult ADHD. I'm Dr. Greenaway, and today we're going to be looking at how to stop getting distracted. One of the primary problems with ADHD is getting distracted. You start working on a task, and then before you know it, you stop that task and you're on to something else. And before you finish that one, you're on to something else. And sometimes it'll go back and forth, come back to the first one, go to another one, come back to the third one. And it just ends up being a very inefficient process. People are getting upset that things aren't getting done. You're getting upset that things aren't getting done. It's a well-known concept that people with ADHD believe that they can multitask. And this is the reason that they use for having a TV on at the same time that they're working on school tasks or on work tasks. And they actually think that going from thing to thing to thing and coming back around again is actually an efficient way to get things done. There's been numerous studies that shows that is not the case. People that think they can multitask really cannot multitask. You can't be filling out forms or working on something while at the same time watching a TV show or going back and forth between email to a text to filling out a form. The other thing that people with ADHD will tell you is that they need to multitask to be able to get anything done. They feel that if they stay on one task, their attention starts to fade and it becomes an ineffective process to where they're just sitting there and things aren't getting done. And they feel that this multitasking keeps them stimulated so they can actually get things done. It just doesn't work. Your brain can really only focus on one thing at a time. And if you're going from task to another task and then back again or even to a third task, it takes time for the person with ADHD, for anyone really, but especially for someone with ADHD, to transition from the one task to the next, and it becomes a very inefficient process. What I want to do is show you a solution or two that you can use so that you win at both ends. You won't be multitasking, and you also won't be stuck on one task until the attention runs out and you're just sitting there daydreaming. So here's what we're going to do. Solution to distractibility number one, and I've talked about it in some other videos, task deconstruction. So what you want to do is take a task that seems like it's longer than you can stay attending, and you want to break it down into smaller parts. You can do this in two ways. You can either break it down so that you're spending less time on the task, which is what a lot of people choose to do, because they know that their attention span is short, and so they make the actual expectation for concentration a shorter duration. Or you can break the task down into different activities. For example, if you have a bunch of yard work to do and you know you're not going to be able to stay focused on that yard work, you might break it down into just cutting the grass and then just trimming the bushes and then clearing away the debris from the bushes. If it's something like a college student that has to read 3 chapters, then you could break it down by a number of pages to read. Let's suppose the task is something like answering emails, and you know the length of time that it would take to answer those emails is way longer than you can handle. So you would break it down by time. Let's say your attention span is 30 minutes or 40 minutes or whatever it is. You would designate that amount of time to doing those emails, and then you would stop and you would take a break. If by chance you feel like you're in a groove and you're staying focused and you want to do more, of course you can extend it. But at least you know that at that 30 minutes, the alarm goes off and you can stop and take a break. And you also want to plan how long the break will be so that a little alarm goes off and then you get back to maybe doing another 30 minutes of the emails. So any task that you have that is monotonous, mundane, and you know that it's longer than your attention can handle, break it down in increments of time. Solution number 2 is called plan the end time, or you can call it plan the break time. But you are pre-planning when you're going to stop before you've even started the task. And you should get into the habit of this. Anytime you're going to do an activity, a task that you really don't want to do, you should make note of what time it is, estimate how long you should work on it, and then either set a timer or do something so that you're keeping track of the time. And then when the time comes to take the break, you stop and take the break. Unless, like I said before, if you're in a groove and it's working for you and you want to keep going with it, then go ahead and do that. Too often with ADHD, what we do is just work on something and we just keep working on it and working on it with no concept as to how much time is passing or how long we've been working on it. And then we get frazzled and we get worn out, and then it's harder to concentrate. So we want to beat that distractibility by planning ahead of time when we're going to take the break. And this solution goes hand in hand with solution number 1, task deconstruction. So not only are you going to break the task down into time increments or steps, you're also going to be planning when you're going to stop and take your breaks. Solution number 3 is called delay the distraction. Everybody has been in that situation where you're trying to work on something and little ideas keep popping up of things that you should do, things that you had forgotten about, and then they pop into your head at the inconvenient time when you're doing something else, and you say to yourself, I'll just get that done now so I won't forget. Or that's just a quick little thing, I'll hurry up and do that, and then I'll get back to this thing that I'm supposed to be doing. Here's what we're going to do. You have a piece of paper or a card or something that you can write on next to you. You're working on the task. All of a sudden you think of this other thing that you should be doing, such as, I need to email Jim about the party next weekend. You get out a pencil, email Jim, and then you get back to the task that you were supposed to originally be doing. Within a few seconds, you start thinking of something else that you need to do. You jot that down, you get back to the original task. When you get to your planned end time or your planned break time, you look at the paper and then you can go ahead and do those things. What many people find is that a lot of those things on the list were tricks your brain was doing to try to get you away from the thing you didn't want to concentrate on. And they realize that they're things that they don't really need to do anyway, and they can cross them off the list. Even better, they get to those things because they're written down and they've done it in an efficient, organized way. It lowers the stress, it increases the self-esteem and confidence, and it makes everybody, including the person with ADHD, a much happier person. So those are the 3 solutions to beating distractions. You got your task deconstruction, you've got your plan the end time or plan the break time, and you've got delay the distraction. I urge you to jot down what you've learned in this video, take it with you, apply it this week. None of these things are going to be effective unless you actually apply it. So even if it's just one of those solutions, try to start getting in the habit of doing it. If you like this video, please subscribe and click like. Until next time, I will see you later, and wishing you the best of luck with managing your adult ADHD.